Welcome back to RABID Noise on RABID Radio. That was the classic Megadeth track, Take No Prisoners, from one of the best metal albums of all time, Rust in Peace. And here to talk about his first spoken word tour of Australia and all things Megadeth is the one and only David Ellefson. Thanks for joining. Oh, man, what's happening?
Hey, thank you very much. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Australia next month.
As a long-time Megadeth fan, I'm very excited to see you on this tour, especially hearing that you might be playing bass up there, because from my point of view, you know, your playing has always been one of the best things about the band. So will it be half speaking and, you know, half bass clinic?
Well, it's not really a bass clinic, but yeah, I am bringing the bass with me, and I think, you know, the bass kind of helps tell the story. There's little bits and pieces of music along the way. I think some fans are going to probably ask questions about certain things, so part of me, I thought, well, if I bring a bass with me, at least I know I can always sit and play and have that there ready to, ready to demonstrate something, or even have it be a little bit of kind of a background to a period of time, because, you know, part of the spoken word thing is sort of going through the anthology of my life.
I think it's such a great way to connect with your fans and, you know, and give you the chance to share the story. It must, you know, hitting the road with a band. How do you prepare for a tour like that?
Well, you know, I think, you know, certainly going for a band is a certain type of thing, but doing something like this, you know, I think, you know, look, my life story is essentially the set list, you know, that's the repertoire. We're going to do a Q&A period, which I'm looking forward to because I love hearing things from the fans and questions and whatnot. I also like, you know, again, I think having the bass with me, if people have questions or certain things, you know, sometimes being able to play the bass and do these things, it just opens up kind of a musical side of it as well. So, but again, it's definitely spoken word. It's definitely not going to be a bass clinic where I'm just going to stand there and play for an hour. So it's definitely more about the talking than the playing, for sure.
It's going to be awesome, man. Like, and if you are doing a bit of both, it's going to be, it's going to talk to both sides of the fan base, you know, the gearheads and the bass players, and of course just the Megadeth fans in general. It's going to be great, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You released your autobiography, My Life with Death, which covers your career and personal journey, and you know you probably have plenty more stories that didn't make it in there. Will you be covering a lot of those that didn't make it in the book on the tour?
Yeah, there was, you know, I think when you're writing a book, you have to keep the narrative in place, and, you know, you have sort of a beginning, a middle, and an end, so to speak. But I think when you're doing spoken word, you can detail some certain things and probably go into some, you know, various stories and different things that you can talk about that are, so sometimes they're easier to verbalize than they are to print them.
Yeah.
And I think when you're face to face with an audience, there's a sincerity that comes across with it that's I just always find is easier to do when you're just, you know, right there live in person talking about it.
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely. It's gonna be cool to hear, you know, you talk about everything that's, you know, happened in your life, because you've definitely lived quite an extraordinary life, even just up to now, and you've still got, you know, plenty more years ahead of you. So,
yeah, thank you. I hope so. I mean, I still feel 15, you know, and I think that's the good thing is, you know, music is one of those things that because it's it's an expression of your spirit and your essence, that it's something that's it's always there, you know, and I think that the real trick with it is to be able to unlock that, you know, and keep that that spirit flowing, you know. And that's, I think, a big part of the story of my life with death is looking at those periods of my life when I was my most free and expressive, and then there was a period when it got blocked up with drugs and alcohol, and then the logjam was unlocked once I got cleaned up again. And, you know, and then there's periods where you go through when you're kind of burned out on the road, or relationships get stale, musical partnerships kind of run their course. Those are also part of a musician's journey. and those are just facts of life. So I think when you, in my case, when I sought out some other things and different groups and different musical settings, it reinvigorated me. And I think when I came back to Megadeth in 2010, it brought back definitely a renewed enthusiasm and a renewed creative partnership as well.
Well, with that, when you reached Megadeth, it's you said that it's like you never left. You
Right.
went back. You went. But you've been doing it for so long. You and Dave have been the heart of Megadeth since the beginning, and it's such a great team after all these years, man. Like, this is from a fan. I'm trying not to fanboy out here. I'm sorry. What do you?
No, thank you.
What do you think the secret is to having such a great working relationship? After so long.
Well, I think it starts at the beginning, which is, I really understood Dave's music. I understood the musicianship behind it. I understood the vision, and I think that, Dave is a great leader, and great groups need great leaders, and great groups also need good people to get in line and follow the vision. And I think that was where I've always been good at that. Megadeth is a group where I have my role, and that role is carved out pretty much from the beginning. And the other two positions, I guess in some ways were carved out from the beginning too. It's taken some time, to fill those positions over the years, finally with Gar and Chris when we did the first two records, Jeff and Chuck, on record 3, and then certainly Marty and Nick through most of the 90s. And that, those are, these roles are not always easy. People sometimes go, I don't want to play that role anymore. I want to do something different. And then they either leave the group or we need to ask them to leave the group. And those are difficult transitions, but, people need to do what they feel they need to do too. And, I just found that, I'm musically active in some other things outside of Megadeth, and which I think are good things because, they always remind me of how special the role inside of Megadeth is, and it always reminds me that, while it's nice to be able to have some other outlets musically, it brings me back when we start working on Megadeth records and tours again, that it's like, what, I'm very valuable to Megadeth, and Megadeth needs both of what Dave and I have in order to really make that thing work the way that it's meant to work.
Definitely, man. Definitely. As I was saying before, your bass playing has been such an influence on so many people, and my own songwriting as well. Whenever we go to write a song and it comes to a bass part, we always go, what would Ellefson do?
Nice, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true. And, we'll always go back to your playing when we're discussing songwriting. So you are such an important part of Megadeth. You're right. And, I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys come up with next. So are you working on stuff at the moment?
Yeah, we are. Yep. In fact, it's kind of interesting that this tour is falling at a good time, because by the time I get home from the tour from Australia, I'm going to pretty much go straight into recording of the new Megadeth record. So it's good. There's a good energy about it. There's a good vibe. Kind of a I think going to Australia is going to be cool, because there'll be a lot of I think just a good moment, before I get home and roll up my sleeves and start carving out the next record.
Can we expect to see you guys here again soon? Because we missed you guys last time.
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. Yeah, I mean, one thing about a Megadeth, an album sets in motion usually a whole world tour, and as much as it was unfortunate we weren't able to be there last year, I would like to think and hope that we will get back there, sometime within, definitely sometime on this next album cycle. So, and for me personally, that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to, is getting back down there again and being face to face with the fans again. I'm excited about it.
Well, we definitely can't wait to see Megadeth down here, but, you know, we're also very excited to see you down here to come face-to-face with your fans and tell us all your stories and share your life with us in that way. It's going to be really cool, man. Really looking forward to it. So we're going to go to my favourite Megadeth track, Angry Again. Now, thanks so much for chatting with us tonight, David, and we'll see you in Brisbane at the Hi-Fi on March 28th.
Sounds great, Nev. Thanks much. Look forward to seeing everybody next month. See ya.